Hey friends, welcome. I am been wanting to get on here for quite a while to give you a real in-depth update on what is happening through our friends Vladimir and Lilia and the church Blagaya Vest, or Good News in Dnipro. It's just man, there's been a lot going on. And so what I'm going to be doing is, some of you seen a prior update. I'm going to actually be recapping some of that. But then I've got some real urgent prayer requests and a lot of photos and things I want to show you here at the end. So stay with me, and we're going to bring you up to speed with what's going on and how you can help. Okay? Awesome. All right. Well, listen, as many of you know, our friends, Vladimir and Lilia, they serve, let me get, well, there we go. They serve in Dnipro. It's in the central southeastern portion of the country, Church Blagaya Vest. And they're the people from all the war-torn areas, Mariupol, Kharkov, Lugansk, Donetsk, are fleeing to Dnipro, from there making their way west. And there is a massive increase of it today as people are realizing that the Russians are coming. And so we'll talk a little bit more about that in a second. And so from the very first days of the war, they rose up as a church and began to really press in to see what can they do in the midst of all of this. And man, they've gathered together as a body. Everybody's risen up in courage and giving, and they began to gather clothes. They began to clothe refugees. They are packed to the gills right now. They have people in their entryway. They literally don't have enough room for the refugees that are coming through. They turned their sanctuary into a dormitory for these people to stay the night, but they don't want to stay. They want to keep going west, and so getting away from the war. And so as a result, they're helping them get west. They're loading up on food and supplies. So many of these villages that in areas like Kharkov have been completely cut off from supplies, or they're only allowed to buy these supplies if it's occupied territories in rubles, and they don't have any. And so they are bringing in food. They're bringing in medicines. Yesterday, they were able to get into the occupied territories of Melitopol and bring in insulin. And people are going to die without this. They're bringing in medicines that they need. They're bringing in all sorts of supplies and distributing them to those in need. They're partnering with so many different churches. Churches will say, hey, we have a need over here. We have this issue over here. I know what these people need. Like in Kharkov, they need milk. They've got flour, but they need milk. Those kind of things. And they're going straight into the war-torn areas, the bombed areas. They're finding shut-ins. They're finding the handicapped. They're finding those who literally don't have any means to get the help. And they're helping, families. This family only had the fish they caught today, literally no other food in their house. And they're going straight into the war zone. And I mean, with such incredible bravery, and we've just been so privileged to come along beside them as they've gone straight into some of the most dangerous areas. And we talked about this, that you guys have been a key part of bringing that aid, making that aid possible so that they could go and help families like this one. This family right here was a family that they were able to help day before yesterday in desperate need. As you can see, the breadwinner is handicapped. But this is Lilia and their family. They had the option to flee, and they're there on the ground, actually, as a whole family, bringing hope into the darkest areas. But with your funds, we've been able to send over, as of today, $63,000. They've been able to buy a couple of vans, and with those also rally many more vans to be able to help get hope into these war-torn areas. And so this is a caravan they had 2 days ago of 6 vans going into a lot of areas. We actually can't tell you exactly where they're going for security reasons, but into some of the worst areas of fighting. They managed to get 108 people out 2 days ago. And then, being able to get out the handicapped, getting out, the children, getting out just all kinds of folks who are just, you see the joy in being able to get out. They're so full of hope because of your help. And so they've also been able, with those funds, to be able to, they finally were able to purchase some body armor. It's extremely hard to come by. They're now on back order for helmets because they're going in where the fighting is bad. Many of you know, we shared the story of one of their folks brought out in a little Toyota sedan, brought out the handicapped out of Mariupol, every window shot out. And yet, miraculously, the bullets all ended up in their bags and their stuff, and nobody was hurt. Oh, God is on the move. Then they were able, again, distributing things like this is insulin and diapers. There are no diapers. There's no children's food. There's no women's hygiene products in a lot of the occupied areas, and they're getting those things in. Yeah, so there you go. Distributing these things for those in most need, again, at great risk to their own lives. But today they've been going in to some very, very difficult areas. They were facing, there we go. Oh, actually yesterday, they had to bury one of their assistant pastors in the region who was killed. It's hard. It's really hard. These are real things that they're having to deal with on a regular daily basis. They're having to grieve. They're having to wrestle with pain, but they're also have to deal with the panic and terror of the people fleeing. One of the things I really wanted to show you is that earlier today, this is a video of the line of traffic. These are the people fleeing Donbass. This is, it's overwhelming. This goes on this had already been stopped traffic for over 30 kilometers at this point. These are people fleeing. Why are they fleeing now? The reason they're fleeing is because, let me put it in perspective. In 2014, when Russia invaded Donbass, anybody who had the means got out. Okay. So then over the last 8 years, as things have been difficult, anybody who had somewhat of means was able to get out. Now what's left is the people who have no means. They have they literally, they're going to leave everything behind. They are also the handicapped, the weak, the abandoned, and they are fleeing for their lives. Why? Because they know that occupation from Russia, having watched Bucha, having heard from Melitopol and Kherson, is horrible. They don't want to be deported to Russia. They don't want that to happen. And so they're fleeing, and the terror is real. The panic is real. And so please pray for our friends in Dnipro, because they have to do war from a place of hope in the midst of terror. The thing that's on Russia is terror. Having experienced it firsthand, it's bad. But the grace of God is greater. And so we've got to pray for them to stay in hope, stay encouraged as they continue to deal with the people who are fleeing in panic. Oh, my goodness. But also one of the things that happened is last night, a few nights ago, but now last night, a huge another gas and oil, tanks. The Russians have been bombing particularly fuel depots because they want to shut down Ukraine. And so in the middle of that, what's happening is, first of all, the whole city is covered in flames and smoke, black smoke. But more than that, the cost of fuel is going to skyrocket, and the ability to get fuel. Pray for Vladimir and Lilia that they'll have the means to get the fuel they need to get to the places they need. Again, I can't say it enough. You guys have been giving sacrificially, and it's getting to them on the ground. They are able to purchase vehicles. We know people have been trying to purchase vehicles. They can't because you guys helped out. We were able to help them get vehicles before they became too scarce. You've been able to help them get body armor before it's too scarce. You're able to help them take advantage when they're able to find supplies that are available on the cheap. They're able to purchase them and get them to the people. Your help is essential. And we're just so grateful that you are partnering in the middle of all of this to see God do something amazing. And so I just want to say, we are so grateful to you all. We're grateful for the honor of being able to privilege to partner with Vladimir and Lilia. And if you want to continue to give, you just go to ariselife.org/help Ukraine. Again, we've sent over $63,000 so far, but it's a drop in the bucket of what is needed to really help address this. Vladimir and Lilia have been raised up to an amazing level of favor in the community, where they've been given a building, a warehouse, and along with a 4-story dormitory to house refugees from the city. They have favor to be able to organize other churches, and they have a lot of that favor because you all have helped come along behind them. And so again, I want to thank you guys, but this is a very crucial time. Help pray for them to stand firm, encourage, and hope, but at the same time to stay safe as they go into the hardest areas. But also pray that resources would be raised up to help them continue to do that. So guys, we love you all. As always, if you got questions, you got concerns, we'd love to help you with that. But be blessed. Take care.